In Deuteronomy, you have got two key sections. One is in the Shema and the V'ahavta, Deuteronomy 6:5, where it says, "And you shall love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart." And so we need to get that heart right to understand all that, but that's something that you need to do. And we're also told in Deuteronomy 8:2 that he's going to test us to prove whether or not we've actually done Deuteronomy 6:5. He's going to test us to see whether it's in our heart to keep his commandments or not. There's a heart issue. So he's saying, look, those who have purified their hearts will actually see him. Now, we could extend that to, because the rest of these verses are going to lead to things like being part of the kingdom, etc. And also, I think, in a much more pashat or literal level, if you don't have your heart purified, you're not going to actually be where he is to see him. It's all about the final result. So verse 8 is in the context of what? The reign of the heavens, inheriting the earth, being filled and comforted, seeing Elohim. And by the way, verse 8 alone isn't going to do it for you. You need to be meek and poor in spirit. You need to be those who mourn and those, so you can be comforted. You need to fill in all the blanks. Don't leave anything out. Just like we talk about Torah observance. You can't just do some of it. You got to do all of it. It's not just because you're being persecuted and claim that you're of Messiah that you're going to get, he says, okay, well, listen, your reward in the heavens is going to be great. No, if you're poor in spirit, if you're mourning, if you're meek, if you're seeking and hungering after righteousness, if you're compassionate, if you see what I'm saying? All those things, and then you're being persecuted? Yes, your reward in the heavens is great. Okay, let your light shine, and people will come and be drawn to you, and they'll want to know, why is your light shining when everybody else's light is dim or darkened? Why you seem to have shalom and peace when everybody else is stressed and miserable? Why are you smiling and joyful when everybody else is suffering and whining and complaining? They want it, that's your light shining. And they'll say, they'll just look at you like, what? What is it that you have? What do you know that I don't know? Oh, I'm glad you asked. So for something to be considered good, it has to be of Elohim. What good things, what works have we got from Elohim? It's called Torah. It's called Torah observance. So when he says, let them see, let your light so shine before men that they see your Torah observance and praise your Father. Why? Because they'll see that the Torah does the things that they want. It's blessing you, and they want blessing. It's keeping you safe, they want to feel safe. And it's transforming you from what you are into the image of the Son. So when people see that, they're going to praise your Father in heaven for the fact that Torah does those things. Now he's going to explain what he means by exceeding righteousness. So what he's saying is, the Pharisees and scribes, they will tell you not to murder. Okay, fine. So you didn't kill anybody, you're okay. And now he's going to say what it means to exceed. To exceed means to go to the fullness of the intent. This is for all those Christians who think that Messiah made everything easier. I think he made it harder. He raised the bar, okay? Because he's saying here, we no longer are just going to expect you to do the mechanics of this. We want you to do it how it was fully intended. This heart thing that's mentioned in verse 28, he says, because you've committed adultery also in your heart. Well, he's saying you've committed murder in your heart. He said all these other things you've done already in your heart, even if you actually haven't done it. Meaning having done it physically. You haven't actually completed the action. Because he wants it to be about our character. Don't just do things to be seen so that people know, oh, well, look, he's fasting, so he's good. Or look, he's putting tithe in the box. Or look, he's doing this. Or look, he's doing that. Just do. If people are looking or not looking, just do it. Your light is still shining. They'll see it, but you don't do it to be seen. Why does he take care of the birds? Because the birds are doing what they were created to do. He'll take care of you too if you do what you were created to do. The problem is, when you start running off in your own direction, you're no longer doing what he created you to do. Look, the whole Bible that you have is a story about the battle between belief and trust against worry and fear, basically. That's the whole book. Fear and doubt and worry against belief and trust and faith. And you get to see in the book those that did it well and those that did it badly. You see the results of those that had the belief and the trust and the faith and those that didn't. That's why Paul says all that stuff is in there as examples for us. and all these things shall be added to you. So how do you get these things added to you? By doing what is right in his eyes. But not just doing it any which way, doing it with the right heart, with the right approach, with the right motivation, because that's what Yeshua came to do, is to get people to do it with the fullness of how it was intended. It was not meant to be done mechanically. This type of wickedness, the Greek actually has a better understanding of trying to be malicious or vicious in a way that would influence others to feel that way about you, to influence them against somebody. So he's saying here, he says, look, knowing their thoughts, he said, why do you think malicious and vicious thoughts to try and influence others against me in your heart? He says that's because that's what he was doing. They were not just trying to protect anybody and really thought that they were trying to find reasons to accuse, discredit, and shame him to try to end his ministry. Doing a quick heart check. Are you checking your heart to make sure when you're talking to people about other people that there's no malicious or vicious thoughts being influenced there to try to get others to see that other person in that negative light the way you do? See, that's what we call Lashon Hara. Now we're actually understanding what Lashon Hara is, the evil tongue. Got to get all of the yucky stuff out, all of the stuff that doesn't belong in there out, and then there's room to have it only be overflowing with joy and peace and love and gentleness and kindness and mercy and compassion and all the good stuff. But if it's all being crowded out by anger and bitterness and resentment and discouragement and jealousies, and all those other things, the lusts, the desires, well, where's the room for the good stuff?